And I just want to put this out there for you now. If you're ever cooking meatloaf and Linda's anywhere around the truck stop, she's probably going to come over and skis the food from you. So
how could I not?
Putting that out there.
Welcome to Beyond the Rig. Real, authentic, and driver-focused. All things trucking. This is Beyond the Rig. Here are your hosts, Linda Dominy and Will Phipps.
Welcome back to Beyond the Rig.
I'm Will.
And I'm Linda.
So it's been an eventful week. I always like to say, hey, I had an exciting week. For everybody out there listening, my back is broken. And I'm sure everybody's wondering why. So
I'm wondering why.
I just purchased this sun blowing machine. So up in the Northeast, they have like a
hang on. What is a sun blowing machine? I've never heard of such a thing.
So yeah, you can order like a snow blowing machine where they get out there and they're shoveling snow. Out here in Arizona, I decided to get on and order a sun blowing machine because my back was broke just shoveling sunshine out here. And it's a very hard task. So
I'm with you now.
Absolutely.
I'm with you.
So I had to improvise and order something to make my life easier.
And how's that going for you?
It's going really well.
You know what? I had a little rain in this morning, so can you bring some more sun? Because quit shoveling.
I'll pass it on. I'll pass it on to you.
Yeah, because I don't know if you know, but I took my car out, and guess what? It got dirty.
Yeah, if you ever want it to rain, have me wash my car. And it's a given. It's a given. It will rain dirt. It rains dirt.
Today on our show, we have a very special guest. Her name is Marcia. Marcia is the proud new recipient of the Fleet of Heroes truck. It's our third truck. And she's here today to talk to us about her experience and transitions from the military through trucking, from women's and trucking, all kinds of information. So welcome.
Thank you, Linda. Great to be here. This is a treat.
So I noticed right away as soon as you walked in all of the pins on your lanyard, which is incredible. I'm so happy you wore them. I have a lanyard too, and I'm surprised, Will, you don't have yours on. Normally he does.
Mine weighed too much. You would be kind of hunched over.
Yeah, I need to. I've got a second one because I'm gonna, collect more. And there's some drivers that have collected a lot more.
So
even more than I have.
So for those in the audience who do not know what the pin program is, we have collector's pins where you can get pins from different terminals. And you can trade pins with other drivers. You can trade pins with office personnel. You also have to do things in order to get pins. For example, you have the We Got Your 6 pin on you.
Yeah.
And that is for the military. So you obviously have to have served in the military in order to get that particular pin. Mm-hmm. The one below that is from last year for the essential worker, and all of our truck drivers are essential workers. Mm-hmm. And so that's where that pin comes from. So
yeah,
but that's pretty cool. So, and we got to get you the new, or the old, I should say, the Army pin.
Okay.
Sure. Ivan, if you're listening, or Lydia, please get the Army pin for Marcia. So when she comes back home, she can receive that pin. Okay. If I had the Army pin, I would give it to you, but I am not a military veteran, although I'm a spouse of a military veteran. So I do not have the military pins because those are for only veterans.
Okay.
And for those of you that cannot see what she's talking about, it'll be posted on our social media pages as well for you to view the pins.
Correct. So my first question for you is, I know you were in the service. How long were you in the service for?
I did 4 years.
So 4 years Army.
Mm-hmm. Active duty Army. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So to go from Army to trucking, gosh, tell me, how was that?
I actually, that's not really too tough of a transition. I mean, I drove Humvees. My MOS, my job in the Army, all of our equipment was on the back of the Humvees. Mm-hmm. So we did a lot of vehicle maintenance, and I mean, everything was on the Humvees. And so, you know, as far as being on the road a lot, you know, showering, going to the bathroom in different places, living out of a backpack, sleeping, you know, in a tent sometimes even. I mean, I've slept in a Humvee several times. And not really a tough transition, I would say, to being on the road a lot. You know, you get pretty resilient in the Army, and you just, you know, take every day as it comes and meet every challenge as it comes to you, and get up the next day and say, bring it on. So
I guess as a big difference, as you're telling this story, I'm thinking, you know, you're sleeping in tents sometimes. Other times you could be sleeping in a ditch. You could be sleeping in the Humvee. And so I'm thinking, well, at least in the truck, you're always in a bed, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the night or whatever time of the day that you're running, at least you can climb into a bunk.
Yes, that is nice. You just walk a couple of steps and crash down on your pillow. And so, yeah, I mean, I've had people, you know, my friends back in El Paso, they're like, so do you like stay in a hotel every night? No.
We hope you're not sleeping in a ditch if you have a bed in your truck.
No, I wasn't combat arms. I never slept in a ditch. So I was pretty fortunate on that. But, yeah, I kind of tell people it's like a mini RV, you know, without a bathroom. So that's how, you know, people don't know. And if you're not in the industry, I'm like, yeah, I've got a bed and you know, I can plug in a slow cooker and boil some water if I want to, you know, and so that's interesting. You know, people outside of the game don't
understand it.
Yeah.
So you brought up the slow cooker. I'm curious, what have you cooked on the truck?
I don't cook a lot. It's actually mini. It's like an 8-cup. It's technically a rice cooker, but you can cook something. Yeah. I don't cook a whole lot because I can tell you honestly, if you cook, then you got to clean it, right?
Oh, that's true.
Or throw it away.
That just takes time. But I've cooked like a mini pot roast in there. I've cooked some like chicken and rice, and I don't know, but not too often. I know some other people will really like to have meals there. Yeah. And you know, I've only been driving for a year. Some pretty new drivers. That's why I got the small one. But I eat, it's funny, I came on like right when COVID started, you know, a year ago. And then Knight and Swift gave out all those driver supplies.
Right.
And if you're giving me something for free, I'm going to take advantage of that, you know.
For sure.
I got kids to raise and bills to pay and everything. So I got a lot of nuts. And so I eat a lot of nuts on the road. Which is, I mean, it's a complete food.
It's snack food.
Very good snack food.
And absolutely. I don't know how many meals I've had that were a bag of nuts and like a bag of Cheez-Its, which doesn't sound super healthy, but
trust me, I understand.
Or you could take aluminum foil and just throw it in your engine and let it cook while you're driving.
Oh
my gosh.
I don't know about that.
You kind of got to do it Tennessee style sometimes.
But I do have a piece of advice. It makes me so happy that I can give you advice to a truck driver. That's awesome.
Okay.
So a friend of mine, when she cooks, she taught me when she cooks in a crock pot at home, apparently there's these bags. You stick the bag in the crock pot, you cook the food, and then when you're done, you take the bag out and throw it in the trash. You don't even have to clean the crock pot. Didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. And I do have to say, as far as cooking, I just recently got for Christmas, I don't know if I can say the name brand, but it's a portable, it's called the Patriot Power Blender. And it's a little like 2-cup blender, and it charges like through a USB. So it's like totally portable. You just hit the button. And so, I've got some really good protein shakes that I have. And that's another quickie meal that you can do, you know, when you've had one of those 14-hour days and you're trying to get all your sleep. I just get up, mix up my smoothie, blend it up, and then I've got a healthy meal. So I've really been enjoying that, especially, and that was fun. That was
so I'm going to give a shout out to Instant Pot. If you want to change your life forever, get a 6 or 8 quart. You can make everything in an Instant Pot.
I have one of those at home. So maybe I'll bring that in. I don't know. We'll see. I just, like I said, I was a new driver, so I didn't know like everything that would fit in the truck. I tried to keep it small.
Right.
But at the at the truck stops, they've got all the rewards programs. So if, you fill up your diesel.
True.
And after those points add up, and then after a while, you got $10 or $20 worth of points. And then I look at the deals. I'm a mom. I was, familiar with couponing and budgeting and all that stuff. It's like, oh, okay, they've got a deal. Like buy one, get one 50 off for the sandwiches, and you can take advantage of that. Use your points, and you haven't spent really any money. So if you're smart like that, you can get some.
And I just want to put this out there for you now. If you're ever cooking meatloaf and Linda's anywhere around the truck stop, she's probably going to come over and skis the food from you. So
how could I not?
Putting that out there.
You're a meatloaf fan, huh?
Well,
she's got stock at Flying J for their meatloaf.
Oh, goodness.
You're welcome, Flying J.
If you haven't had it, you got to try it.
I have had the meatloaf.
You have?
At Flying J in Odessa.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and it was pretty good.
Was it as good as Linda says? Don't kill
and
it for everybody.
And the mashed potatoes?
It was good.
I'm telling you.
It was good.
I was going to be disappointed if your opinion.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, try it. And they give you two pieces, and I try to watch my portions.
They do give you too much, but you can have it for lunch and dinner.
There you go. Yeah, or dinner and then breakfast.
Yeah.
Because Linda was hyping it up. We didn't. It was kind of like Santa Claus when you find out.
I'm going to back her up on that, man. They've got good meatloaf. Yeah.
All right. Your credibility stands, Linda.
So I know we've kind of really gone way off topic. That's okay.
Whatever.
I'm curious, with your experience as in the military, and now you're you're a truck driver, you've got kids, you've got a husband. How do you juggle?
Well, gosh, I guess the way all the men have been juggling it for the last several centuries, you just do it. I was in the Army, active duty, and then had a platoon romance. Just go right into this one, and and then I tell people I got promoted to wife and mommy, and so I was an Army wife, and I had a unique perspective because I kind of knew exactly what I was getting into.
Right.
My husband did another several years in the military before he got medically retired from combat injuries, and how do I do it? I just do it. Get up every day and I do my job, and I'm fortunate that my husband, like I said, he's retired, so he's able to be at home with the kids, which has been great with the COVID and the distance learning and things like that. But I feel really fortunate now that we've got all this technology. I could FaceTime with my kids every day if I want.
Oh, true.
And, I mean, there's all kinds of ways to communicate now, the phone and text messaging and all that. And so it's really, you just get up and you do what you got to do. And, actually one of the big pushes for me to go back and get a job, we found a really good school for my kids to go to.
Oh.
And so that hiked our bills up a little bit, but so everything worked out really well. And I just I love this job. It's great. I love the traveling and I can bring my kids out one at a time,
which is nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Have they been on the truck?
They have.
What do they think?
Yeah. They love it. It's cool. They love climbing up on that top bunk. That's like their thing. That's my top bunk. And
that's awesome.
And just getting to see some sights. And we've traveled around the country and visited family and friends. And in the military, you make friends and everybody moves away, and so then you end up having friends in all parts of the world and all over the country, and so that's fun to call somebody up like, hey, I'm rolling through Kansas tomorrow. What are you doing? And so then you can take a 45-minute break and hang out with your friends, and
which is awesome.
Yeah, it's really wonderful, and of course, I mean, where else are you going to see all the scenery all over the country in just a few days? And
true.
So that's been really a blessing, and it's a great perk of the job.
So
well, I actually have a question for you regarding, so you 4 years in the Army.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service, first and foremost.
Keep freedom alive, man.
So when you served the 4 years, you're out of the military now. You're transitioning back into civilian life.
Yeah.
You decide to get into trucking.
Yeah.
How hard is it now knowing that you've served the 4 years, you're at home, and now you're traveling all over the country? Is it hard for you as a mom to know that if you've missed any time with the children growing up, that you've not been there? And then to have to go out now and FaceTime with your kids, I mean, how do you juggle that for people out there wondering how, if they would like to get into trucking, how you made it and what advice you could give other moms and people out there?
Well, like I said, you can keep in touch. You can keep in touch every day. So it is difficult. I mean, I actually, it was a little harder on me than my kids. I kept asking them, the days were coming where I was going to, start being on the road. And I kept asking my 14-year-old daughter, I'm like, you guys going to be okay? I'm going to be gone and everything. And I kept asking. And she finally was like, Mom, we're going to be fine. Are you going to be okay being away from us? And then I had to realize, like, okay, this is really harder for me than for them. But, children are resilient.
Sure.
They are. They can, we need to give them a little more credit. They can handle it.
Sure.
I guess my advice would be continue to communicate every day as much as you can. Ask about what's going on in their lives. Follow up about, situations going on in their lives. How was the game and how's it going? Specific questions and listen. And then when you do get home, then make it quality time.
Right.
So that's one of the things I want to ask you.
Yeah.
So a typical driver, you spend a week, 2 weeks, you come home, you've got a day or two.
Yeah.
You're in the mentality of crazy cars, customers, life happens out all over the country, and you're having to go back in and flip the switch just to be a mom and catch up on all the stories, the homework, the sports, the recitals.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Patience and grace.
Yeah. You just, like I said, you got to focus on quality time and really give them your attention when you're home and be a good listener. Listening is a skill, and that
True
you have
statement.
to, and it's not just, sound going into your ear. It's, eye contact and engaging in the conversation and of course, being there for what you can. Once again, my kids are military kids. Like, this has been their whole life that one parent is gone hard at work and the other one's holding things down at home. That's all my kids have ever known.
Right.
So, this wasn't a transition for them. Just the transition was mom's gone now instead of dad. But I guess, like I said, kids are resilient, everything's new for kids, right? And their normal is their normal, and, they'll be okay. They'll be all right. And, just make your time count when you're home, and the kids are going to be okay. They will.
So you touched on something earlier, and we kind of just glossed over it, but you intrigued me. You spoke about a platoon romance.
Yeah.
So you met your husband. Y'all were deployed?
Yeah. So I joined the Army in August of 2001. Which is, of course, a month before September 11th, 2001.
Oh, yeah.
So it was a major transition. I went into the military. I knew I was going to be stationed in Germany, which I was really excited about. And so I was of the mentality of like, all right, this is cool. I'll get some money for college, and I'll go travel around Europe. It's going to be great. And then 9/11 happened. And, in addition to my, Army financed plane ticket to Germany, I also got to go to Kuwait and Iraq and even a week in Qatar. So where were we going with this?
Your platoon romance.
Platoon romance. And so I tell you something, nothing's going to bond you together as, a couple than a deployment experience. Okay? Like, that's something you got. And, for us, I mean, we were the first wave out there. I did my deployment 2003 to 2004. We had scheduled for 12 months, got extended to, 16 months or 15 months. So there were actually a lot of couples that came out of that deployment from our battalion. I mean, that's just what happens. It's, females are about 10% of the military. Right. And so there's a little phrase when you get deployed that you're queen for a year. All the ladies are going to get attention. So that's just what happens. And so it eventually, so there was a lot of couples that got together and got married. And then it was kind of interesting because from our first deployment, I was with the 141st Signal Battalion supporting 1st Armored Division. We were out of Wiesbaden, Germany. And they're now actually based in Fort Bliss in El Paso, where I live now.
That's awesome.
So I've been loyal to 1st Armored Division for quite some time. But like I said, a lot of people paired off. We got married. And some of them, first comes love, then comes marriage. And so then the babies came.
And the baby carriage.
Yep. And so then our husbands deployed on a second deployment, and we were all kind of still in the loop. So it was it was interesting. We still knew quite a few of the service members. So that's just kind of inevitable, and especially, like I said, we were the first wave out there in 2003, and so we we actually convoyed from Kuwait to Baghdad. We drove all through. That was the time. Oh,
gosh.
Yeah, I went up there right about the same time as Jessica Lynch, if you guys remember that whole story.
I do remember.
So that was really raw, and we were just the first ones out there. And so it was especially, every deployment has, of course, combat and danger and stuff, but we were really breaking the mold. We were the first ones out there. I was at a lot of bases where they didn't have the bathrooms and the showers set up yet and the DFAC set up. It was just like
raw
sand and Humvees, bottles of water and MREs, which are the
meals ready,
packaged meals. Yeah. In the military. And so, like I said, that's really gonna not only bond you together as this unique shared experience, as a platoon, but if you carry that into a 40-year marriage, it can be pretty rock solid,
For sure.
So yeah.
And then he served. Did you say 10 years?
He did 10 years. He did a total of 3 deployments, and he saw some combat, and it affected him. So that's something that we dealt with. We definitely went down that PTSD road, and
it's a tough one.
That's why I really want to recognize the family members as well as the service members, because that is your life too, and you deal with that. It's the whole family. It's the military family, supporting that service member that works so hard, and so yeah, it'll try your marriage. That's for sure, and lots of challenges.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For better or worse, for richer or for poor.
Sickness
and in health.
If you're going to take those vows seriously, nobody said it would be easy. And unfortunately, there's lots of marriages that don't make it through all that. Mm-hmm. And that's, that's what happens. So, got to be tough. You got to be tough to put up with that drill sergeant and that first sergeant and all of the combat experiences. And you got to be tough to be the spouse
of a military member.
Yeah.
So I often say that, because I'm a spouse of a military member, and I always say that, yeah, he woke up for 20 years and served in the Air Force, but so did I.
Yeah, for sure.
And life for the spouse doesn't begin until after the military career is over, right? Because as a spouse, when it's time to move, because they said so, we got to pick up and go try to make a home in the next location. And then when it's time to go again, you got to pick up again and you got to make a home at the next location. And there's never time for you as the spouse just to make a career for yourself, because it's always unsure when you got to go. So I always say, yeah, he went, but I served too.
Absolutely.
I just didn't walk in the uniform. So yeah. It's a tough thing. So, when we made the trucks, the first one we made, that truck that Chris drives, is a dedication to all of the military that served, all of the veterans. The second truck came out, and that's Rick's truck, and that was made for, it was a memorial truck to remember those who served and gave the ultimate sacrifice for our country. And then the third truck came, and what could you possibly do for the third truck, right? Well, it's the families. It's who's waiting to welcome those families home, right? Because they serve as well. So that was the inspiration behind all the three trucks. And so hearing your story, you were the perfect person for that particular truck. It was like that truck was made for you, because you were able to serve in both. And not only serve in the service, but then serve as the spouse. But then you had to encounter great difficulty of having to deal with the PTSD and all of that comes with it. So yeah, I'm so glad that we chose you for that truck. It makes me so happy and proud to see you in that truck. But I also know that I wanted to get to some other topics for you, because you were awarded for so many things. The one that I heard just briefly about through El Paso, and it was Ivan that had told us, was that you were one of the 10 finalists, top 10 finalists.
10.
Yeah, like that
was for the Transition Trucking Award. Yeah, which is also for veterans. So that's not just for Knight, that's industry wide. They found out I was a veteran, so I got interviewed for that, and kind of told them a similar story. And that was the big prize for that. They give away, I think it's a Kenworth, brand new Kenworth truck.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So you would own that. And so, that was for people who were new, like within a year getting into the trucking industry, and just kind of to encourage veterans, that this is a great career for prior service, for military veterans. So yeah, I was really, I once again was honored to be in that crowd for the top 10 for that. And the ceremony for that was Washington, D.C. For the finalists of that. And I need to follow up and see who actually won that. I know I followed up and saw who the top 3 were, and those were the ones that go to the D.C. ceremony, and they announced that. But it's just another program, to honor veterans and give them that recognition. And
so how did you get nominated?
I had a friend at Knight who was he was in the National Guard, and they had asked, they were looking for veterans for this to nominate, and he's like, oh, well, I know somebody. And so I kind of joke with him. I'm like, you're kind of half the reason why I got this truck, because I think maybe that got me noticed for now this for the Fleet of Heroes truck. So it all kind of all those puzzle pieces fell into place. And so I just feel really fortunate. And I know that this, being the driver of this Fleet of Heroes truck, is it's an honor and it's a responsibility. It's a conversation piece.
For sure.
And people tell me their stories. And there's a lot more veterans out there than you might think. We don't all wear that hat all the time, you don't know. We just blend in and
they're not dressed in uniform.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not so much anymore.
So my question is, what was it like to know that you're the ambassador when you got chosen to get this truck from Knight to represent, the questions.
Yeah.
They're going to knock on your door at truck stops. There's going to be lots of comments. What was going through your mind when you got chosen to be the ambassador for this truck? How did you feel? What were the emotions?
Wow. Well, I knew I was going to get a lot of attention. And I'm okay with that. I'm not a stranger to, I've done some theater stuff, just amateur theater, and I'm not afraid to get up to the microphone. I've done some speeches here and there and some talks and in church in different places, and so I'm not camera shy. I don't have the stage fright. I'm one of those people that I get a lot of energy from the attention. I have to admit I do enjoy it. So I don't mind it. I enjoy having conversations with people, and sometimes I have to kind of, you have your long, hard 14-hour days and you're tired and you get up in the morning and I have to kind of remind myself, like, you're the Fleet of Heroes driver, okay? So you got to be in a good mood. You got to have that smile on your face. And but it's a pleasure. And I was, I don't know, it was a little overwhelming at first, but now this is how my life is. And like I said, people just open up to you like right away, and either they're a veteran themselves or everybody knows somebody. Oh, my dad was in the service, my brother, my uncle, and what have you. I just had somebody, I was dropping off an empty and he was sitting there waiting to pick it up. And he told me about his grandfather was a World War I veteran.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Wow. And he said he's since passed away. I was like, wow, he must be like 115 or something. But so everybody's got a story. Everybody's connected to the military in some way. Sure. And it's just, and I've really enjoyed telling people stories. I just had somebody the other day in the Denver yard. Oh, yeah, I was in the Marines, and where did he say he served? He told me he got shot 5 times. He showed me a wound, the scar on his arm.
Oh my God!
And he just kept on going, and got patched up and right back to service. And I'm just like, wow, man. And then we were in the terminal, and he walked in, and and I'm wearing my shirt, and like I said, conversation starter, and
instant.
And and we were talking, and he walks in. I said, hey, here's another American hero. And he's like, oh, no. And, that's how veterans are. They're humble. They brush it off. And I'm like, no, man, like, let us recognize you.
For sure.
For sure. And so I hopefully can be one more person like, no, you deserve to have a little bit of attention, and be proud of it. So it's really been wonderful, So it's people from Knight and then also others, and of course I get people taking pictures of the truck, and that's what it's there for,
right?
I remember, when I first started out at Knight in the El Paso yard, and Chris rolled up in his Fleet of Heroes truck, and I was thrilled, and I'm like, oh my gosh, look at that, like, that's so cool, oh my gosh, it's here, and I was really excited about it, and my son was there. I had my younger son with me, and I'm like, let's go take a look, and we talked to Chris. He gave us a pin, and so I think it's just it's such a treat to go from that to. Yeah, and people ask me, how did I get picked for this? And I just kind of say, well, right place, right time. And this is, I try to tell them, I said, I've had that unique experience of being, the service member and the spouse. And, gosh, I tell you, I say, I've been through 15 years of very challenging times, both in the service and then being there for my husband. We went through a lot with the PTSD, a lot.
Is he better now?
Not easy. Yeah, he is. Lots of therapy and a lot of, you kind of learn what works and what doesn't. So you do what works and you don't do what doesn't work, and you got to kind of be at peace with that. We cannot go to a crowded place indoors where it's loud and noisy and we don't, we can't see the exits, like stuff like that. I just have had to accept, that's
what we do,
how it is, like this is, and you focus, like I said, you focus on what you can do, not on what you can't do. So yeah, that's how, and other night drivers ask me, like, man, how'd you get picked for this? Like, I want one of these trucks, like I was a veteran, I deserve this too. And, but I do say, my little catchphrase for the truck is, this one's for the families.
That's right.
And
this one's for the families.
And, it's got that magic moment on there, that reunion moment.
There's nothing better for a military family. There is absolutely no better feeling than to see that military member come home and come running, and a little kid come running into their arms. There is nothing better. Nothing on this earth is better than that moment.
It's such a special day.
It is.
It's such a special day, just full of emotion. And, if you've...
Or the soldier that gets to hold the baby for the very first time.
Yeah.
And that's depicted on your truck like that.
Yeah.
Those were wonderful moments.
Well, I don't think they could have picked a better representative.
For sure. For sure.
Good job, you.
Well, thank you. And that's, I am the representative. Like you said, it's not just me. It's for everybody. It's for all the families, and I like even how there's an image of just a soldier and his dog. Because
they're important too.
Absolutely. Some people, that's your family. Not everybody's got a wife or a husband and kids. For some people, man, I can't wait to get home to Rex, and of course the dog's going to remember you too, and that's
100%
just as much of the moment for them, and whatever your family is, it's all the same feeling.
So you're good. So for our audience, I don't know if you've had the opportunity to see the Fleet of Heroes celebration for when we actually gave Marcia the truck. If so, you can. If not, you can check it out on YouTube. But in this link in our comments of this video, we're also going to post pictures of her truck so that you can see both sides of the different images that we're referring to during the conversation. I did want to say one more thing though, because we were talking about Fleet of Heroes, and everybody's like, what's Fleet of Heroes? And so here at night, we now have a fleet of trucks. There's only 3 right now, but we're getting them out. We started it last year. We did one on oh no, we didn't. We started the year before, huh? It was the year before.
2019.
We did one on Veterans Day. The second one came out for Memorial Day, which ended up being released in July because of the whole COVID. And then hers was released on Veterans Day. The goal is to try to get 2 trucks a year. Always Memorial Day and always Veterans Day. So be looking forward to those new trucks. But every one of those trucks will say Fleet of Heroes somewhere on the cab. And then at the bottom, it's one of my favorite sayings. It says, We served America then. We serve America now. And every one of those trucks will have that because it's true, right? So,
and that all hit home in 2020 here, where who were the ones delivering your toilet paper and your hand sanitizer and all your food? We didn't stop,
right?
We did not stop.
And you got a pin.
Yeah,
how about that?
So we're proud to, I'm sure all the drivers and everybody in the transportation industry. Well, I just was doing my job, but it's nice, we were there for you guys, us and of course all the medical workers and everybody involved in getting all those food and supplies to the people. So it's good to recognize everybody that's soldiers through.
Yeah.
In 2020, man, what a year.
Oh, man.
So,
did you see what time it is?
I know what time it is.
Oh,
the question is, do you know what time it is?
One more story with Corey.
OMG. And we love Corey. So we call it One More Story, Corey.
One more story, Corey.
Welcome to the show, Corey. I'm so excited to see you.
Hi, Linda.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Will. It's
Corey.
good to see you guys again.
Good to see you as well, sir.
I'm sorry I'm late, but I have a really good excuse.
Oh, boy, here we
There
go.
better be ideas for a good story.
I was shoveling sunshine.
Okay, we'll accept that.
That's awesome.
And later this afternoon, I'm shopping for a sunshine blower. Is that what
I
you
can
were?
give you a good lead where I purchased
sunshine
mine.
blower. So I thought we agreed on this show not to be partisan. What's with Rocky Top?
Well, I'm not going to lie, Corey. As soon as I came in the studio today, I was outnumbered by Texas here to the side of me. And I also had another individual that kept throwing Ohio State out there. So I was on an island by myself.
Will, it's the Ohio State.
The Ohio State?
I'm going to call it the.
Ohio Okay, now I see why we got the Tennessee show on today.
It's really Texas. I mean, look at the color. There's a T, right? The burnt orange.
Never Tennessee. I'm loyal.
The Longhorns. Just
Exactly.
saying.
Well, how have you guys been?
It's good. It's been a good week. How about you?
Great. And I totally loved Marcia.
Me too.
Her story is amazing.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Good energy.
And very touching.
I agree. Did you get to check out her truck?
Oh, yes. The truck is
beautiful.
amazing, too.
Yeah.
The truck brings a lot of emotion just visualizing what it means for families to be reunited again.
Yes.
So it was great. You know what? I think she's like a professional spokesperson, don't you think?
You couldn't have picked a better person.
Yeah, she's great. But since our other episode where we talked about how great driving associates and truckers are on the road, especially as good Samaritans, I have a story.
All right.
One more story from Corey.
You know, we really should have popcorn for this segment.
Something.
Right?
Yeah, something to introduce him
I'm
coming
just saying,
in.
like, why? Next time we need a bucket of popcorn.
Yeah.
We can just sit
I
here
actually
and
like
munch.
those $10 bags that you can get right
Oh,
from
at the movies.
Kind of like
I
what
agree.
the employees get rid of at
All
the
I-
end of the night of the movies, or a fresh one?
No, you go buy
fresh one.
them.
Oh, you can
Buy 'em.
buy it.
Dude,
Yeah.
where are you under a rock?
Well, I got friends. I can get the hookup for free. I mean, anything.
You go to the Harkins, you buy them. It's a big bag.
You got
That's
a big
awesome.
bag coming next week.
Oh, I'm
Perfect.
just saying, we cannot eat just regular popcorn.
You can't.
It's got to be movie
Has to be after
theater.
the show,
But
though. I'm
this
sure they.
one, you might also need not only a bag of popcorn, you might need a handkerchief.
Oh, boy.
This is a great story.
Okay.
And I want to share it from the actual words of the person that was helped by a trucker along the side of the road.
Oh,
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Oh, can't wait.
Okay,
All right.
let's play the audio.
I just wanted to call. I was traveling to Denver, Colorado from my home on southbound I-25, and my tire blew out, and I had my daughter, my 8-year-old daughter, who is in a wheelchair, with me. We were actually on our way to one of her doctor's appointments, and I was on the side of the road for about an hour, and nobody stopped. And then this nice young gentleman driving one of your trucks, and I didn't get his name, but he, I do have his license plate number and the number that was on the front of his truck. And I just wanted to let you guys know that he was so amazing and how much I appreciated his act of kindness because, you know, it's hotter than heck. And like I said, we were stuck there for about an hour before he finally came along. So I really, really appreciate it. If you could just let him know how much we appreciate him, I would be grateful. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Oh, my gosh.
Isn't that a great story, a real-life story of how drivers can really impact a person's life? I loved how the fact that that driver didn't even want or need to be recognized.
Absolutely. Because it wasn't about the recognition.
It wasn't about the recognition. It was about helping others along the road. And I think that is a good symbol for all of our driving associates out there on the road.
Absolutely.
Yep.
But I thought you'd enjoy hearing that, and so I brought that. And thanks for letting me come on and do one more story, Corey.
Absolutely,
Thank you.
Corey.
That was great.
Absolutely.
That was so touching too, and that you had the recording so that you could hear it from them was even better.
You know, I bet you there's hundreds of those stories out there where people are helped by driving associates. So if you've had a story or had an experience like that, we'll reach out to all of our followers and have them send those in. We'll be happy to highlight them.
At Beyond the Rig at nighttrans.com.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Bye,
Corey.
Corey.
Thank you. Wow, that was definitely an interesting story from Corey.
Always. He never.
They never get old.
No.
I've heard them 100 times, and it's just like hearing it for the first time every time.
I agree. He's the best.
Absolutely. So, Marcia, I have just a few more questions for you.
Sure.
You know, being a female in more or less a totally dominated male industry from back in the day, you know, I think females make up around 5 to 6% of truck drivers. So you have a very strong personality, and I think that you do very well and would have no problems with this. But there may be some out there that are a little timid, a little shy of being in a totally male-dominant industry. How do you handle it? And what would you tell other that are looking to get into because we need more?
We do. We desperately need more.
Yeah. Well, you know, I do have to admit, making the transition, you know, I was in the military and then I was a stay-at-home mom for several years, you know, a good decade. So it was a big transition for me. And actually driving a truck is something I've thought about doing for many, many years. But, you know, that held me back a little bit where it's like, well, especially when I was young, it's just like, oh, well, that's not for me because I'm not a guy, you know? And unfortunately that, you know, that was the perception in my mind. But now that, you know, I was looking to get back into the workforce and I just knew I wanted to, I'll tell you a little bit about my story. I ended up, I was starting to look for jobs. I ended up at a job fair, in a shopping center. I am a woman. And there was a trucking company there from El Paso. And I was like, oh, should I go talk to them? And so I started talking to the guy. I'm like, yeah, do you have any female drivers? He's like, yeah, there's females that are truck drivers. And I was very fortunate that another female driver just happened to be walking up and was there at the same time. She's like, oh, yeah, I'm a driver. And she'd been driving for like six years. So I got to pick her brain a little bit. I said, okay, tell me, you know, what's it like as a female and all this stuff? She's like, it's like any other job, you know, you show up, you do your job, it's fine. You know, there's not like, it's really not a big deal. Like and so I would say if you are a female and you're considering like, yeah, I want to be a truck driver. I want to do that. But gosh, I just don't know. Like, let me assure you, it's really not an issue. Like your gender is really not an issue. It really isn't. You know, like that's, you have that maybe in your mind. And you know, there was one incident a few months ago and I was getting unloaded, at a warehouse and, the gentleman that was there, with the truck that worked for there, he's like, hey, I got somebody I want to talk to you. And it was a lady that worked there. And she's like, hey, I've been thinking about being a driver. And I was kind of able to give that forward then. I said, you should do it, And I said, yeah, like it's a job, You go to training, you get your certification, and you show up and you do your job. How's it different from anything else? Women are in every other industry. I said, and she gave the classic story. She had, her family, uncle, father. No, I'm not going to have my daughter be a truck driver. Like you need to get that out of your mind, because it's just not a thing anymore. It's 2021. We girls can do anything. And, and so I have experienced that nervousness and, oh my gosh, what's it going to be like and everything. And sincerely, it's really not an issue. You show up, you do your job. And really other drivers out there, everybody that I've encountered, they're friendly and they're helpful. Now, some people have said, well, yeah, everybody's nice to you, Marcia, because you're nice to everybody else. And, I like to smile.
That's part of it.
Yeah. But I really haven't encountered anybody being rude or whatever. Well, I have had a couple people, and they're usually like, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of international people in the industry. I've met Russian people. I've met people from India that are drivers, people from Mexico, whether they're first generation immigrants or just one or two generations. And there have been a couple who are like, you are the driver? Yes, I am. I am the driver, And so there's still some, there's still some people who are taken aback a little bit, or like, oh,
the old school mentality.
Yeah, there's still some of that, but then they're just impressed. Like,
oh yeah,
wow. Yeah, well, that's great, and there's nobody that's like, well, you shouldn't be doing this because you're a woman, That's just not a thing anymore. And so just do it, get out there and if this is the job that you feel like you want to be doing, just do it. Just do it. Don't, you drive with your hands, not anything else. Okay. So you don't need to be a man. Right. It's just not an issue. So.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So we are creating the Beyond the Rig pin.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
And we'll make sure to get one sent over to the terminal for you for being a guest. But if there's anybody out there interested and would love a pen, send us your contact information. You can email us at beyondtherig@nighttrans.com, and we'll make sure to get that over to you.
And as always, we want people to submit questions, concerns, topics, what you like, what you didn't like. And remember, we're trying to get the number of people up who like and appreciate our show and what we're bringing out there to the industry.
Correct. I wanted to give one thing about the Knight does offer a military apprenticeship program, which is a little bit different. Actually, there's one big, huge difference. There's only 2 people in the industry that have it, and both trade under the KNX umbrella. And that is, if you're going to go get your CDL, you can use your GI Bill. If you're a military veteran, you can use your GI Bill in order to pay for the school. Well, as you know, as a GI, you then get paid your BAH, basic allowance housing.
Basic allowance for housing.
Yes, so you normally get paid that. Well, typically the way that it works is, say like you're from California and you want to come to our school here in Arizona. The way that happens is ordinarily you would have to take the BAH from Arizona. Well, California is much higher than it is in Arizona. We are approved. Like I said, there's only 2 companies in the industry, both trading under KNX, but we are approved that you can still take your school here and still get your BAH from wherever it is that you're from. So you don't have to take the lesser of the BAH if that's an issue. But yeah, we'll get you through there. We'll get you in school. They will pay you. We will pay you. And then to top it off, there is a cherry on top. GI Bill has paid for your schooling. You now work for night transportation. We will pay you $35 a week to repay you for what you spent in your GI Bill.
Mm-hmm.
So no long-term contract.
No.
You're getting paid to work in a great company and a great industry.
And you get to double dip because we're going to pay you while you're training, and then the military is going to pay you the BHS or BHA. So
right.
BAH.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So how great is that? Wonderful. All right. Well, Marcia, again, I want to say thank you for coming on.
Yeah,
we really appreciate it. I always enjoy listening to your stories. I know at your truck presentation you had me in tears, so thank you again for coming on. And I just want to remind everybody to follow us on, gosh, where are we? We're on YouTube, Instagram. We are on Facebook.
It's
all
familiar places.
Beyond the Rig. And of course, email beyondtherig@nighttrans.com.
We enjoyed bringing this show to you, and we hope you had fun along the way too. We're going 10-10 for now, but you can catch us on the side on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Beyond the Rig and Drive Night. Until next time, be safe out there and keep trucking.